we all have things to show today.
Since 1984, praise for surf.
Nice. All right, welcome to episode 186. I did it again. I knew I was going to do it. 168. I read the numbers backwards. Episode
We're in the
168. I literally just said I need to be careful not to do that.
We're episode 186 after tariffs.
I think it threw me off when you put up the thing, Stephen, that said 1984, and my brain's, you're doing this to me. Anyways, I'm your host, Jeremy Powers. Joining me once again for this lovely show, we have Stephen.
Jinkies.
He's doing it early this time. Rachel.
My ASMR bag of dice.
Yeah, you can't do. You have to do that and then talk very quietly about them.
I mean, I can do that if you really want me to.
This show became very different all of a sudden. And then joining us as well, Chase.
G'day.
Oh, man. So last week we had the crazy announcements of the Switch 2, and everything has gone to hell since then. So we're going to be answering a whole bunch of weird rumors, questions, and other stuff about the system, talking about a bunch of other things today. But before we get into that, let's jump into what we've been doing. So, Rachel, let's start with you, because I think you've had a more interesting active time than the rest of us.
Well, I had a really good time last weekend. Like, it was very busy. I went to, music festival. I went to these really amazing springs down, that are 10 minutes down the road from me. I just had a great time. And then I came down with a 24-hour stomach bug, guys, that I thought, I thought I was going to die. It was so bad.
I can tell you what that's like.
It was.
I've had that too.
It was awful. I'm not going to go into detail, but I legit, for about an hour, I thought that this was the end.
You're afraid to cough, like something's gonna give if you cough.
And then it wasn't. And then I went to work, and then I went to work one single day, and then had surgery, which is I'm recovering from right now. My recovery's been pretty good, actually. I'm not in a lot of pain. It's just other surgery stuff when you get things done laparoscopically. Anybody listening who has gotten laparoscopic surgery done knows what I'm talking about. So we will leave it at that. But it's going pretty good. I'm just taking it easy, trying to stay active, like my doctor says, and just doing what I'm doing. But other than that, because I've been I've been off the last 3 days, and I'm off obviously tomorrow, and I go back to work on Monday, very carefully, but I'll be back at work on Monday. And I've been playing Xenoblade a little bit. I'm very early into the game. I literally just got to the tower thing, and it's like, you got to go in, and I go up to the door, and the door does not open. So I'm like, okay, nice. Don't know why it's doing that. I guess I got to talk to somebody. But then I got a notification that Star Overdrive was ready to pick up. And so I was like, I convinced my best friend who was here on business a couple days ago to drive me to Best Buy to pick up my copy of Star Overdrive. This was also the day that my surgery happened. So this was oh yeah, no, it was fine. It's perfectly fine. It was at, what time was it?
She is committed.
I was. It was good. It was good, Anesthesia and painkillers are great. It's fine.
You need to see if they'll give you security footage of that Best Buy of how you probably were. You're just like, I was fine. I want my game. And
no, it was great. It was great. It's fine. So literally he drove me in my car to Best Buy, and I grabbed the game, and then I started playing it yesterday morning, and it was pretty good. I'm not very far into it. It's very puzzly. It's not super hard. The combat is very simple. It's cool running around the desert on a hoverboard.
It's kind of an open world, though, isn't it?
Very open world.
Okay, cool. That's what I was hoping for.
I thought that this wasn't a silent protagonist game, but it is a silent protagonist game. So far,
Is it silent protagonist where they make fun of silent protagonists, or are they all acting like he's talking and you just don't hear it?
I don't know. I'd like
because I like when they poke fun at it. It's like, oh, you don't say much, do you?
Well, because most of the stuff where someone is talking to the main character, it is a recording of his girlfriend. So, and he's trying to find his girlfriend, who was sent to this planet
on a never-ending quest to find.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't have any other information other than that. But it's cool going through the desert on a hoverboard. It's fun. So
I really hope that's one of the games that gets a bump, because I think all the open world games deserve a bump up for Switch 2.
Even if it doesn't, I wonder if it'll be one of the games that actually gets just basic functional a little bit better, because there's some of them.
It's not on the list that it doesn't work, so
like
true.
So far, I mean, I haven't noticed anything with it, with how it runs, but it is very, it's cell shaded kind of vibes. It's not like it's like Breath of the Wild, wow, but it is pretty. And there's a lot to see and do with it. But then again, I haven't played it in like docked mode. I've only played it in handheld mode so far. So maybe it's even prettier on the big screen. Unsure. Will, update that when I am more comfortable sitting in a seated position for like an upright position for longer periods, like later in time. So that review might update. But in the midst of all of this, between stomach bug, surgery, whatever, I started watching Camp Cretaceous, like the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous on Netflix. Have you guys watched that?
I wasn't even aware of it.
Oh yeah, if you're a big fan of Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, and stuff like that, like give it a try. It's an animated show on Netflix. I'm
still waiting on their Ghostbusters.
Yes. I was waiting on their Devil May Cry, and now that's out, and haven't watched that yet, but I'm going to. Sorry, I'm gonna be yawning a lot.
That's fine.
How it is.
You're here. You're actually, and mind you, I gave her an out. She wanted to be here, so she's a trooper on this. Give her a break.
Listen, I just want to tell everybody, I'm not in any pain right now. Like, I'm not. It's just uncomfortable. That's how it is.
You mentioned, though, that you thought you might die from this. I will warn all of you now, and I expect the same in return. If any of us passes, I will go back through and get a ridiculous clippings of a bunch of the dumbest things we've said to memorialize and play for us. And I expect the same thing. Steven, you've already threatened me once with everything I mispronounce. So
well, I'm gonna
have a button on your grave that when you press it, it goes, ah.
That's great.
The surgery though had nothing to do with the stomach bug. The stomach bug completely unrelated.
Just coincidental.
Yes, coincidental. It was just bizarre. Like, I was sitting here like, I had a really great weekend, and then I got stomach bug, and then got surgery, which was planned and something I wanted and needed to get done. And so it was just a real interesting, like, turn, like, process of events. So it was a time. But Camp Cretaceous, it's very good. And that's all I've been doing. Everything else I've been doing, I can't talk about. So there we go.
Fair enough. All right. Steven, what about you? What you been doing?
All right. Well, I've been through a bunch of ups and downs here. So on the upside, I'm going to go up and down with each one. On the upside, we have ZZZ, of course, still playing that. It's now coming to Xbox in June. So
nice.
That gives me hope that it'll eventually make its way to Switch 2. It'd be nice to have a game like that on there, so I can just pick which console I want to play it on. And then we go down. I finished Resident Evil 7, completed that. The DLC was insufferable, so Chris was like, why don't you just watch it? I'm like, okay. So I just...
That was the memories with the VHS tapes, I think, right?
So I just watched the Lost Hero, whatever one, and some of the things weren't even stories. They were just like mini games where you have to feed the dad and stuff like that. It was like weird. So I just got what I needed out of those. that didn't really change my thoughts on the game at all. It was just one of those I couldn't wait to one, I couldn't wait to delete it, and two, it seemed to have been hurting my PS5 because it would spin at such an unusually fast speed that I've never heard that my PS5 make that sound, both when it started and stopped. So I was like, I need to hurry up and finish this game. Then going back up, I started Resident Evil 8 because I knew that now that I had a third person mode, I could play it the way Resident Evil's intended.
Wait,
here on out.
Is that the one that I was asking about the other week?
Maybe.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Okay.
This one is much
step
better.
on me, lady. Nice. Okay.
This one's much better. They do copy some things from Resident Evil 4, but
Somebody
in a
started
good
from that
way.
game. People became aware of what they're into.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but there is tons of looting, unlike 7. So it's back to the looting aspect of 4, which is also nice to have again. And they did copy the everybody's coming after you and you're surely going to die, but something goes off in the distance and then everybody leaves. So it's like, okay, I've seen this before. So I'm excited to
exactly which
where
part
that
you're talking
goes
about
from here on out, because it is a direct sequel to 7. So you should play 7 before you play 8 to understand what the hell's really going on. However, they do have a recap that you can watch if you so choose, but it is very brief, so you're not going to know too many of the secrets, or you're not behind the scenes, but like the meanings behind a bunch of stuff.
The funny thing is also that third person mode wasn't added until way later with DLC, because it was originally first person only. That's how I played it.
Once they put that in, I was like, all right, I'll play it now. But and at one point I was like, I have to play 7, I guess. It's on my wall. Now we'll go back down, unfortunately, for Jeremy. I did finish South of Midnight. I beat it in 3 days, but that was 3 days of playing it for like 3 to 4 hours a piece.
So no spoilers, but
no, without spoiling it, I'm going to say that the way they put everything together, the music especially, because I almost want the soundtrack now, but you have to get the deluxe edition to get a digital soundtrack. Maybe I'll just get it off YouTube. The soundtrack is amazing. The story is great. The characters are pretty much memorable. The problem I had with it is
waiting for the butt.
is the game plays like a budget 360 title. So the gameplay plays like a 360 game that you get for $20. So it is inherently simple to the point that even the accessibility options give you the option to skip battles and to skip boss battles. I don't
think that's a negative for an accessibility option, though, because some people can't do that. I mean, that's you can have it, but not have to be there. It's just like there's games you can pick the easy mode where combat's pointless. It's like just telling you the story.
But
like
I also think they did this because they really wanted you to experience the story and the music, because again, that was on point. It's a new for me, it was a new developer. Never heard of Combustion Games before.
Really?
And I felt that they put a lot of love and care into the game, but then they had somebody else do the gameplay. That's just my opinion on it. Again, like, I enjoyed the story, but I did skip the battles that were just, for me, filler. But I did not skip any of the boss battles because those were fantastic, because each boss has a theme song. So awesome.
Stephen, the track record between you and I guess I'm just going to love this game.
Well, to kind of put it in perspective for like my interest in this game over one of the things that you're going to talk about, Jeremy, today, which I should be interested in, given my my love for watching YouTube videos on a similar franchise.
I am going to stream it, by the way. I'll talk about it in a minute. Yeah,
I will watch you play that then. But I started watching a playthrough of both South of Midnight and the other game that you're going to talk about, Jeremy, because I don't want to ruin what you're going to talk about.
Fair enough.
I stopped the playthrough of one of them to watch the other. Maybe it was just the person who doing the playthrough. Sometimes people are not entertaining.
It could be, because this was one that in certain areas you should not talk, because again, the presentation is huge in this. So if you're talking over that, it's bad.
Yeah,
you should talk over the battles, because the battles don't mean anything. It's like, whose line is it anyway? The points don't matter.
Right. That's how it is for a lot of games with that point.
But,
gameplay.
But other than that, the only thing, like even Chris said, that was a little jarring for him, but I didn't really care.
Mm-hmm.
Was he didn't like it that whenever there was a cutscene, it was done in the Spider-Verse frame rate to go with the type of graphics they used. But when you got the gameplay, it was smooth and 60. So it took him out
That's
of
actually
the
an
atmosphere.
option. You may have had that turned on.
Yes. So that's actually a setting that you can change in there that you could turn on and off. So I think the default is it for these for the stop motion to be off during gameplay, but you can turn it on.
So the default is off, so they don't want you to see it.
Yes.
Well, because people were complaining that they wanted the smoother gameplay, but they still wanted the presentation. So it's one of those situations that no matter what they chose, they're never going to win with everybody. But
someone was going to be unhappy. Yeah.
I'd have to look because I didn't see that option.
It's in the settings.
I did notice that whether you turn closed captioning on or off, they always give you some sort of closed captioning, which I was like, but I don't want that. So, but it is what it is, because I wanted just subtitles when they talked, but it would tell me like breathing and effort and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't need to know that. I saw that.
I would look and see if there was a descriptive audio, because that's what comes up a lot with Jennifer when we're watching movies and we turn descriptive audio on.
No, I had everything off except for subtitles, and I even like really wanted to hear the lyrics, so I was like, let me turn on closed captioning, and it ignored the lyrics and just like said like, your power in the distance is fading. I was like, I don't need to know that because that's behind me. So
yeah.
But then going back up again, I did start Blueprints. Christian played a little bit of it. He said it wasn't his style, but he was willing to at least like see what I thought of it.
I'm very curious about this one because I was intrigued what we saw.
I will tell you in the nicest way, because this is why I enjoy it, that it is Myst mixed with Balatro, because everything you place in the mansion every room has special abilities, and because you can run out of space or run out of ways to make another connecting room, you have to quote call it a day and try again. And nothing carries over unless you got to a special ability that gives you the ability to carry something over. So rooms can help you get further. I still think you're limited in how many days you can do it.
It's like 3 or 4, I think. It's like 3, I think, 3 days.
Because I'm in day 4 and I'm okay.
It might be 4.
So it might either be 4 or be a week, because I know in the beginning he tells you his will and he says if you don't do it, then everything will lapse and you get nothing.
Yeah.
But
so
if you can find the 46th room, then you get the whole house.
Yeah. So I think I played the demo like last year when there was a demo version of it, and it was 3 days, but I think like the demo was like shorter, because you weren't supposed to be able to finish the game.
Not give away too much and stuff like that. Yeah. Because there is, without giving anything away, there is stuff you find later in other rooms that completely change how you just played the game. Because it'll be like, hey, remember that thing you did back there? That doesn't apply. And that never did. And you're like, what? I've been doing all this stuff for nothing? And you're like, yep. Because it keeps on saying, remember this. And at one point, it even tells you in one of the rooms, you should get a notebook and write things down because you're going to need it. And they're right.
Oh, yeah. This is why I'm so happy my phone has a pen, because I will be sitting there writing notes on my phone.
Years of playing Nancy Drew games have prepared me for these games that are coming out now. Like,
no, not even Nancy Drew. The Colonel's Bequest, when you bought that game on PC, gave you a notebook because they were like, you better write shit down because we're not going to tell you.
Man, playing, I remember as a child playing Riven on the computer with my mom, and my mom just playing around with it, and we were playing it together, and I went and got like a notebook, and I was like I was a kid, like I was like 7, maybe even younger. And I was like, I think we're going to need to write things down. And she was like, well, I don't know. And I go, I think we're going to need to write things down. So.
See, back in my day, we had to draw the maps from Metroid and write down codes and stuff.
You can still do that on Etrian Odyssey. They
true.
Recommend that.
Fair enough. All right. Chase, what you been doing?
Pretty simple. Decided to trade in one Warriors game for another, playing Samurai Warriors Spirit Sonata. I never actually finished the game.
Oh.
Started a while back, never finished it, so I decided, well, I might as well go back and finish it. And it is probably one of the better story modes that a Warriors game's had. a long time. If you are looking for, I don't recommend it if you're looking to as like a first game though.
Gotcha.
So that's definitely not one of those that you'd want to like get into if it was your first game.
Now, I've got a Dynasty Warriors game that I found I had recently that I'm curious if you ever messed with it. Did you ever play Dynasty Warriors on the Game Boy Advance?
No.
Yeah.
I will have to stream
Sounds
this.
weird.
Oh, it is. I will have to stream it. Maybe I'll do it through Discord just to show you, Chase, how this game is. Where a Game Boy Advance is trying to do a full Dynasty Warriors experience.
I loved it. It was like a beat 'em up.
Yeah, but it's so. I have a feeling Chase at least is going to look at it and be like, "What the hell? Why does this exist?"
Yeah, there were some weird ones. That have
For
come
sure,
out.
but it's an actual Dynasty Warriors. So,
All right. I
Nice.
appreciate that.
all right. So, for myself, I have been busy with work. I'm going to be traveling here soon for a couple things. Shouldn't put a hold on the show because I think I'm going to be home on the weekends for those points, so we should be okay. But I have been obsessed in trying to push myself through Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition because I never got the scale on the Wii U. As Rachel and everyone else is well aware, my ability with RPGs, when it takes a long time, is very tough for me to get through. I
I'm
lose
so
interest.
proud of you.
I've played nothing else. I have not turned off my Switch. I have not changed the game because I'm like, nope, if I don't stop. So I finally got the skill, and it took me 45 hours to get it. Why did it take that long? And apparently this is faster than on the Wii U, because the Wii U, it took like 60 hours because they did not have where you could, like when you leveled up, now it spreads it to all the characters you get. There, you had to go get them individually, and you couldn't just change a menu. You had to go to their location and pick that person up, almost like a soccer mom having to pick up the whole team every time and swap people out and do all this stuff. Like, good God, I don't think I ever would have actually made it. I've tried multiple times on Wii U, but I got my Skell, and then I blew it up an hour later on accident.
How dare you do that to your poor Skell?
Thankfully, it had insurance, so I got it back, and I bought a few more of them. But
Well,
I've
that's
blown
the
it up a
life of
few
people
times.
who like mechs. You get something after hard work and you lose it right away.
I do appreciate the fact it's basically a transformer. I can hit a button and turn it into a car or a motorcycle or whatever, depending on the size of it. I'm using one of the heavy ones now, so it's basically a tank with a big old butt.
So for some just some information, Jeremy, when I played the game on Wii U, I remember getting my Skell. And I don't remember anything after that. So I don't think I got very far after that on my original playthrough.
I have to say, like, the story has actually become more interesting to me. Like, the main story, okay, some cool twists. I'm not going to spoil anything. That I was like, oh, okay, even I didn't realize that. But interacting with the other races as you go along, I'm like, okay, this is actually entertaining. And there is this isn't really a spoiler, but you'll find the joke at least funny. I did find a human character named Victoria, who ends up trying to go through a whole bunch of missions to make underwear for aliens to try out for the first time.
Yes.
And I was like, they went there.
There is, so I remember when this game came out, and I just went, oh, I wonder if they did any weird like localization stuff for the English version of the game. And that and then also but the thing that struck me as weird as I'm playing it the other morning was the big, larger than life United States of America on the side of the
white whale,
on the side of the white whale, and I was just like, okay.
Yep. The texture's better now. It looks even cleaner.
Yes, and then the captain of the ship or whoever he is, basically declaring himself king. I was like, okay, as I'm playing it.
Oh,
so
yeah, hilarious.
Oh my God.
But I'm enjoying it. I'm still playing it. I'm almost tempted to take a small break to play some other stuff I picked up, but I'm like, if I do that, Am I going to end up like I did with Assassin's Creed Shadows and I haven't gone back to it yet? I'm kind
Yes,
of worried.
that's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, the other game I've started playing, I got this one instead of South of Midnight. I was planning on getting that one, but Amanda surprised me and ordered this one because she knew I wanted it. So she got me a physical copy of Atomfall, which
Okay.
people describe it as British Fallout. They're not wrong. It's
No.
very British Fallout. One of my coworkers is from the UK, and I'm like, oh, okay, I recognize these phrases and what he's saying, which is great.
Especially the first guy you meet who's just like, subtitles.
Yeah,
Yes.
and one of the first weapons I get, cricket bat, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, it's British. There's not going to be a baseball bat anywhere in here. It's all cricket bats. We're going
Yeah.
straight for Shaun of the Dead.
I was watching a playthrough of that, and the guy he was ignoring like all the little details, and I was sitting here like, what are you doing? Because and here's my problem. I'm so used to watching Oxhorn do Fallout content that anything remotely like Fallout, I expect him to do videos of. And I haven't seen him do stuff for Atomfall yet. So I was like, this is very unusual. This seems like something he'd play. And he hasn't. So I'm like, I need to find someone else to watch. And so far I haven't. So I'll probably watch
Nothing
you
worse
stream it.
than seeing something on screen and you see them turn away from it because they didn't see it.
Yeah. Or like he was going, the guy I saw playing was going through the first bunker thing. And then he was like, oh, and he's like, he goes up the stairs and goes, oh, okay, I can't do that. There's no power to the key card reader. And then he goes into this other room and he sees the doctor's body and he gets this thing that's called like an alternative key card or something. And I was like, wow. And then he just exits the bunker. And I'm like, why didn't you go back up to the door? It looked like it was a punch card. It looked like it could work on a key card thing with no power. What are you doing? And I had to stop watching it because it was too annoying. So
yeah, I just finished watching Markiplier play through 7 because I wanted to see what somebody else thought of it. And he completely missed a whole gameplay loop. But at the end, he's like, I'm a goober, so I'm going to play it again because I missed it.
Well, at least he knows that he missed it and owned up to it.
He likes lore, so he was like, I'm sorry, guys, I'll go back and fix this.
Yes. Well, he's a smart cookie.
So playing Atomfall, like I had a few good things, a few bad things while playing it. You can tell, because I didn't realize that first, this thing is made for Series X and Xbox One. So you can play it on Xbox One, and the textures definitely look like that. I guess I got kind of used to like Fallout 4 after it got its update and some of the other stuff because they're a lot cleaner for texture work. This one gets very muddy when you get up to stuff. I've played older games, so I'm just like, okay, I kind of hoped for a little better, but it's fine. Gameplay's a little clunky, but it is still fun to play. I have learned very quickly to be more stealthy because I tried just running at somebody and that did not work. You will die very quickly. Doesn't take much for someone to kill you. Leeches are a big problem, I found out, in water, which is hilarious. But I'm exploring about it. There's a lot of, like, I've already found traps, and apparently I have to learn some skill to undo them, but I have no idea where I'm supposed to learn that. And I have a habit of, if I see something I'm not supposed to go into yet, I'm going to try and find a way into it because it's just half the fun. So I'm still playing it and I'm enjoying it, and I will probably jump in and at least stream it some. And that way you can kind of get an idea, Rachel, of how it is.
Okay.
The last big thing I've been dealing with, and I've been working on this project for a couple of years now, and that has been digitizing and saving all of my family videos, which I've, got the RetroTink 4K, waited for them to do the update that can do actual timecode correction and everything else, specifically for VHS, VHS-C, and so forth. Getting all this equipment together, but the last thing I needed is this little device, and eventually I talked to the creator of it, and we're going to talk to him on the show at some point. But it is VHS is Life, is literally what it's called. So the point of this is to clean dirt and mold off of VHS or VHS-C or Betamax or anything. It's made to clean media. Does full runs, both sides. So I'm going to completely clean my family's collection of tapes so that I can digitize them with the best quality and preserve them. And Rachel, from the look on your face, yes, I will help do yours as well if that is something you're wanting to do.
I only have two
That's fine. I'll do it.
VHS tapes, and one is, I think it's God, Beatrix Potter, and there's pigs on it. I don't know. I'll have to show you. We'll figure it out. Fascinating.
I want to do my family ones first, but like this project, I've spent in total, not just with this, around $2,000 just getting what I need to do this, and It is every penny of it's worth it for what I'm trying to get, because these are the only memories, like videos and stuff I have, other than some cell phone stuff, of my mom and my brother and family that I no longer have. So I was very happy to get this. I will be trying to use it sometime this week. I want to get a little bit more of the cleaning material before I do it. But yeah, this is a lot of it's 3D printed. He engineered it. And I look forward to actually getting him on here where we can talk to him and kind of ask some questions. And Steven, I was going to see if you wanted to join me on that, or I might just do it because I'm just a technical nerd and want to talk to him about it. But I even got
depth you want to get. If you want to get engineer nerdy, then I'll be like, I'll step back. I'll just be like Chris. I'll just sit there and be like, I don't know what we're doing.
I want to get a little technical with him, but I also want to talk about the inspiration of why he did it and like what this means for me to do it. It's even got a hookup, and I bought it. It's got a vacuum that hooks in the back. So as it's cleaning the tape, as it gets stuff off of it, it'll suck up that dust and that mold and keep it separated from it. So he did a really good job. So yeah, it's called VHS is Life. So look it up. He has, I think this one cost me about $120 with all my parts and everything I wanted for it. He's got different adapters too. Go ahead.
The next thing, like on my list, because I recently got a record player that also has a CD player and a tape deck in it. So it's really good. I need to get a VHS player because I only have like 2 VHS tapes now. Because all my other ones, like my Disney ones and stuff like that, I sold like years ago and made bank on it at the time because they were like a high value at that point. They're not really now because of Disney Plus. Right. So I picked a good time. So, but there was a few things that I kept. So
nice. I've got a collection of VHS tapes from over the years, but then I've been buying like a bunch of the Nintendo promotional ones and things like that to use as practice while digitizing, because I didn't want to keep trying over and over again, with my family videos. I wanted that to be the procedure is done, everything's set up and ready, and then just record it. That way I can just one and done and be done with it.
That is
so
cool.
Yeah, I know one of those old tapes shows me in high school, and I did a test shot of that a while back, and there's some hilarious pictures I'll have to show. If you want to see what I looked like when I was 16. There's some actually when I'm even younger. I think there's some of me when I was 10, and maybe a little bit before that. So, all right. Well, that is enough talking about all that stuff. So we'll go ahead and jump over to the group chat now. Steven already did it, so I'm not even waiting anymore.
Jinkies.
Hey, Chase did it. Surprise.
Thief.
I did that for Steven, but now he messes with me. So, Darktide, the Warhammer 40K game we have been playing, Steven, Chase, and I picked this up recently, which you guys described it, and I would kind of agree, as Warhammer meets Left 4 Dead. It does kind of feel that way. It's a little clunkier, I think, but it's been fun. I'm guessing we're probably going to try and play this some more tonight, but
Left 4 Dead is definitely clunkier.
Well, I mean, it seems like you can get in and out and do stuff a little bit clearer, but we can see. But so, yeah, you guys go ahead. Steven, you want to start us off? Your thoughts on this one?
I'll say 2 things. One hot take.
Guns are life.
The hot take will be like, I like this game better than Space Marine 2 because the hits feel very visceral and they feel like everything connects with such gravitas that I'm just like, I love what I'm doing. And 2, hats off to the developer for allowing me to be able to play through the game without shooting a gun.
Amazing.
You're still tearing things apart, but yeah. We'll call that non-violent.
It's the best melee I've had in a game in a long time.
Yeah, you've been having fun.
Melee
You got
is
a
big.
hammer you're using now, right?
It,
It's like a
yeah,
club.
it's kind of like an electrified
yeah.
bat. But the sounds,
I think I have like a
how many
smaller
watermelons were
chainsword.
sacrificed to make that sound, and
It's
and
definitely an
heavy
audio
cabbage,
treat for the chunkies.
but it is quite the treat to just experience that. I never want to watch somebody play it. I just want to be able to hit people with the hammer and everything else because it feels so good. It feels like it connects every time.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that. Chase, what about you? What's your thoughts on this one?
Oh, now that I have friends to play with, because I played it I played a couple missions where it was just like I joined with randoms and it was fun. Like I enjoyed the game, but I'm like I could definitely see where communication or even just chaos of having like friends and stuff with you would just be like amazing. And I was right. It's been like it is a lot of fun to have people to play with in this game. Some of the environments though are dark, and I was just like, "Holy fuck! How the hell does anybody see?" And then all of a sudden, I found this revelation called a flashlight on my gun. I was like, "Oh my god!"
You were so excited.
I was really excited.
Holy crap! There's a flashlight.
I just
just
clicked
so
the
you know,
right stick to see what it did, and it was like, and I was just like,
I wish you could have seen
amazing.
my screen after you said that because I was like, really? Click, 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 click. I'm like flashing the light on and off. And you can see
speaking of British again with Adamfall, Darktide is unapologetically like Cockney, where everybody is just like ranting about things and how they can't wait to go home and masturbate or go fuck something, and they're just like they are unfiltered. And I found out that one of the things does an emote, so I just keep emoting and saying "For the Emperor."
That's all we hear. It's great. Oh God. So yeah, Rachel, you should join us in this one.
I don't even know what this is about.
I can tell you right now, it's probably not your type of game, but
Probably not.
it would be hilarious just to get you to play it with us once. This is no Sea of Thieves. I'll tell you that much.
Oh boy.
There's a sea of bodies.
Oh no.
Yeah, rivers of blood and seas of bodies.
Oh boy.
I have to make sure that everybody I hit, their head comes off. Otherwise, I can't go on with the mission.
I mean,
He does keep decapitating everybody.
I do love me some spooky stuff when maybe a little bit of gore in the spookiness, but I don't know.
The looks are very spooky.
Oh.
But
Once again, we'll have to like record this or stream it sometime just so you can be like, what the hell are these guys doing?
Yes.
At one point, Swan went through the options and saw that there was an option to turn off jibbing, and he was like, "Why would anybody choose this?"
Yeah, seriously. Like, chunkier the better. Every generation that's backwards compatible should give more chunks.
Yes.
So, all right, let's jump over to the news. All right, so as we talked about last week, the Switch 2 was unveiled officially, fully. I know it's leaked and all that other fun stuff beforehand, but Nintendo answered a lot of questions and then left even more completely unanswered, which led to a lot of misinformation and stuff going on, which we tried to cover some of this last week, and it only got worse. So we're going to go through the
Mythbusters.
Basically.
Switch
and someone's
busters.
car alarm is going off. Awesome. Hopefully you guys can't hear it.
We're now the Switch Busters.
Hey, the alarm stopped. That's faster than it normally does.
It got switched off.
Ah!
God damn it, Stephen.
I'm here all week.
All right, so all of these are actual statements or questions I have heard from people, not just online, but in actual, like, running into them in stores, or I've talked to people at work and other things I've been asked. So we're going to go through, make the statement, and then talk about what's actually going on with it. So the first off is the Nintendo Switch 2 games will cost $90. We talked about this previously. Mario Kart World is 90 euros in parts of Europe physically, and then it's 80 euros digitally because they have a little bit of a difference on what they charge physical versus digital. But then people that are over in the UK talked about this and were like, yeah, there's a lot of stores that purposely will sell it lower. Like they're already seeing it for like 60 and, $70. So that's not an everywhere thing. Most of the games, like Donkey Kong, the new one is going to be 70. a lot of the other ones are going to be 60 or even lower than that. So
MSRP.
Nintendo's greedy. Those filthy cucks need to stop charging so much for a game just because they think they can get away with it.
oh, he got the hat.
He got the hat out, guys. Everybody watch out.
I still feel like you were just being mean to that hat, man. It's a good Nintendo hat.
Maybe the hat deserved to be mean to.
It's an NES controller. They're great. So yeah, if people ask about that, the games are not all $90. They are, one of them is 80. Technically two, I guess at this point, because I think Tears of the Kingdom is as well, because it's more expensive for that, but that's a combination thing. But Mario Kart World's the only actual title that's been announced like that. It's been variable price and lower for everything else. We'll just do this so I can keep track of it all. So next up, Nintendo Switch 2 games are not on the cartridge. This is a fun one that Steven and I have talked about a lot because we collect a lot of games. So Nintendo Switch 2 games are on the cart for a lot of the titles. Mario Kart World is supposed to be on the cartridge. Donkey Kong, Cyberpunk 2077 is confirmed to be on the cartridge. There are what's called key card releases, which is a cartridge that basically functions like a digital code. The difference is that you put it in your system, you download it one time, you can play it in that system anytime you want just by putting the cartridge in. Don't have to be online, and then you can share that cartridge with somebody else. They download the game, they can play it. You just have to have the cartridge to play it.
Internet once too, though.
Say what?
They also have to connect to the internet the first time.
Yeah, anytime you download it, you have to do that the first time. That should be self-explanatory, because if you can be offline and download something, I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know of any games that do that. This is a Nintendo bullshit scheme. Having to download games before I'm able to play it, it's bullshit.
So
you're gonna make this very hard for me to clip, Steven. If you keep doing that.
So it's like an old style PC game, basically, is what a key card is. Like,
yeah, I mean,
remember like way back in the day? I mean, I can
even
look at it right now, you can
hell, even the old PC games you couldn't really share because they usually had a key you had to type in, so it was like a one-time use for some people. Not all of them.
Not all of them. Not all of them. A good bit of them was like, yeah, just make sure this is what matches, and it would tell you after you as you were typing in like the code that hey, this is a one-time use, or you can uninstall and reinstall, or
Spore
you can share
was
this
the
with
worst.
friends.
You got, I think, 5 installs, and that was it.
Yeah.
And if you changed hardware, yeah. Anyways, but we're getting sidetracked.
But yeah, so it's basically like old style PC game installations. Like that's what this feels like to me. Except in this case, it's shareable.
It could be worse. It could be, how many times do you get to play the demo?
Oh, I remember that.
So at least that's gone.
True. So if you're buying a Switch 2 game, it is marked on the front. On the bottom, there's a big icon, or I say big in reference, but it's a big key icon, and it says it is a key card game. So you will know if that is the case for that title. There's only been a handful of them announced so far. Bravely Default, Street Fighter 6. I think I don't get that one. It's like 11 gigs. What the hell? Suikoden 1 and 2, I think, was confirmed for Switch 2 to be a key card game. And I think there was one other. They're all third-party titles. No actual Nintendo titles have been announced to be one yet.
I think a lot of these
the key card.
A lot of these key card like decisions, or not even like, or just digital only decisions too, are going to be made because of the situation with not to get political, but tariffs. And I think a lot of those decisions are going to be made based on that, because
I think Bravely Default is just because we all know Square has a history of being cheap.
Yes, and
Square's very well known for that.
It's all going to be. I think it's primarily going to be a cost conversation of whether or not these game developers are going to want to spend the money to produce a physical version.
I think they can also offer it cheaper in those cases, because like I found out that Survival Kids is getting a physical, at least right now in Japan, but it is a key card release over there, and it's only 5 gigs. So it beat Bravely Default.
Amazing.
So, but Bravely Default's only $40, and Survival Kids is only like $35. So I think it's to make those games more affordable too.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
but-
going to be a
but-
combination of things for sure.
But I think as
Yeah.
the gigs go up, you better be giving me that content. That's why I feel like Street
Yeah.
Fighter 6 is worth it, because you're getting years 1 and 2. So
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
Nintendo has clearly shelled out the time and the money to develop these new cartridges that maybe hold more, because the system itself has a larger base memory now too, why not use it? If
yeah, they
You're-
did confirm that 64 gigs is the largest they make currently.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is also the largest size for the Switch original.
yeah,
But that could go up during this generation, and I think it's also faster read memory for it.
yeah,
But
like
that's not really going to matter if it's a download game, anyways.
yeah,
It's the internal.
if Nintendo has shelled out the time and the money to have more advanced technology,
Mhm.
I think that the companies that have these larger games will use it and should use it, except for maybe Square, because I don't know, they're dumb sometimes. I
Square
love
makes
them.
weird choices.
I love them. I will always love them, but they are dumb sometimes.
I will always just think of Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, one day we will. I'd love to do an extra quarter about that.
It's so warm.
Yeah, but anyway,
Moving on. All right, so the next one I've heard is the Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games are just Switch 1 cartridges with a download code. All right, so
wrong.
we didn't know this one until recently because, once again, Nintendo took a little while, but they did officially confirm that Nintendo Switch 2 Edition titles from Nintendo will be on the cart and include the main game and the Nintendo Switch 2 updates, the enhancements, without needing to download. They did state that some third parties can have the games be digital or keycard releases.
Or download code, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were going to actually do download code or if they were going to do, because keycard kind of eliminates the need for download code. It would either be just a digital or the keycard, but that'd be very weird to go backwards and have a code in a box again.
It's all up to them.
That's a weird one. I don't know what the hell Nintendo's thinking.
We'll see
but-
who's going to be the first to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be picking up. I'll eventually get the Zelda games. I know I have them, but I like having as part of my set. That's a collector thing.
I think some of those, when they said download codes, though, I think those will be reserved for pre-orders. So if you get the pre-order launch edition, you'll get a download code. Because like some of them have nothing to do with the game. Other ones like Suikoden, you get a day one item pack. Another one you get what do you call it? You get a digital soundtrack. So there are codes that have nothing to do with the game, and then there's ones like that give you items real quick.
That's what makes a lot of this confusing. And I also meant to mention about the last one with the cartridge. Steven, you and I are big on trying to get games on the cartridge, but as we also said before the show, there's 150 million Switch units out there. Most of those people don't care, or they're going to be playing it digitally, or they just want to put something in there and they'll go through whatever. So I think it's a lot of people kind of talking loudly about it that aren't actually going to matter as much. And I guarantee I am on there.
I guarantee Call of Duty is going to be a game keycard release.
Oh, 100%. I would expect. It's the same reason I thought Street Fighter 6 made sense to be one, because it's an ongoing game. You're never going to have a complete edition. Hopefully they will make one when they actually do a complete edition, because Capcom does that. They didn't do it for 5, but they did it for
Activision
4. And yeah, Activision, no, they've never done a complete Call of Duty. I could see maybe the story being on the cartridge and the multiplayer being download. That would be fine with me. But anyways, so yeah, you get the games, everything's going to be on there. So if you get Zelda and all that, but not everything will be on the cartridge, as we next find out. So the other thing I've been hearing about is Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games don't include previous DLC. We don't know this for all of them, but it was stated from Nintendo that Breath of the Wild will not come with the Master Trials or the Champion's Ballad DLC. You'll either have to already have had it, get it. I think you still get it free with Nintendo Switch Online, or you have already purchased it. Which I don't know how that's going to affect the Amiibo compatibility, unless it's, you have to do the update anyways, which is $20. which brings that up to, I think, a $90 purchase to buy the Switch 2 edition, or have bought the game, get the update, and then the DLC. So Nintendo stated to IGN, quote, "The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch 2 edition," they really got to shorten these names, "does not include the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Expansion Pass DLC. That DLC is available as a separate purchase." So that's causing a bit of an issue with some people that feel, and I kind of agree, that it should have been a complete release if they're doing this again. Seeing the fact that it's been over 8 years since Breath of the Wild came out. But at least now you know what it is. So how do you guys feel about that? Do you think the DLC should have been included, or Steven?
I'm just looking what's in it, because I never got it.
Oh, that's like the motorcycle, and then there was the extra missions with the 4 other legendary heroes that you could work with that they had the DLC for and things. You can get different weapons and armor. You can get a Nintendo Switch T-shirt.
Other than the Champion's Ballad, the rest is inconsequential to me, because it's just
the motorcycle's fun, but yeah, I get it.
Because they're just items, but
yeah, it's
they should at least if it's story, they should at least include that. But anything else, like, it doesn't need to be called the Champion's Ballad DLC.
Well, Master Trials is also what added where it would track everything you did, so you can go back and see where all you went. And I really liked that feature, and it kind of feels like it, because they included it, I think, in Tears of the Kingdom. But
we also have Zelda notes now, so
that's such a weird one for me. I still just whatever. That's such a Nintendo-ass thing to do.
A new way to share.
Yeah, I guess.
When people share, but only using their sharing stuff, no one else's.
Basically. All right, up to our next one here. So the Joy-Cons will not use Hall effect sticks, so they will have drift again. All right, so we did confirm that they will not have Hall effect sticks. Apparently that's come through, but Nintendo did state that they have done new designs for the sticks, and Hall effect sticks are not the only kind that are resistant to drift. We don't know what they're using, so drift could happen. We don't know. But that's true for a lot of these different controllers. We don't know how they're going to be until we get our hands on them.
And they've already fixed the drift. New controllers already have the piece inside that prevent the drift.
It can help mitigate it, but it doesn't stop it, because we have had brand new controllers drift.
After they put that piece in there, then it's your problem, not Nintendo's. I'm sorry, everybody. But at this point, it's no longer a manufacturer defect. It's your defect.
I'm taking care of the controllers, and they're still drifting sometimes. So it's
your old ones.
I get why it is.
Your old ones, I perfectly see that. But the new ones,
this was my Zelda edition ones off my OLED, which is the new design, and I work on these things. I know how they operate, and it still can drift. I mean, that's a fault of any of the sticks that use a graphite layer. Doesn't matter what company. This is why PS5 ones drift. That's why Series X controllers drift. Because it is relying on a physical contact that will degrade over time. So if you play a lot, it can happen. Tends to be the left stick more than the right, because you use the left stick way more than you use the right. Think about playing Xenoblade right now. You're moving the left stick all the time to move, but you're not moving the right stick as much to move the camera all the time. So one will degrade faster than the other. Hopefully they've come up with something different. I wondered if Hall effect wouldn't work because they're using magnets to connect these. And while I know the magnetic fields they rely on are very small and very confined, and you could technically shield it and stuff, but they need that to be an open connection. Could that actually have affected it? I don't know. But there's other types of sticks that have been talked about that could be used. And this is one of those things we're not going to know about it until someone breaks it down. Waiting on iFixit. It's going to be a fun video to watch.
Am I the only one who's never experienced Joy-Con drift?
No, I'm in that party too.
I've never experienced
the last
it.
controller that had drift for me was N64, and that's because I played Mario Party 1.
I have
and that physically degraded it, yeah.
I have one controller, in my entire existence of playing games that has gone bad, and I'm looking at it right now. It is my
with shame.
It is my see-through PS4 controller. It's the one that you could see to the stuff internally, and that is the only one. I don't know why.
I had a PS3 controller go bad once because of static shock. I got up, saw the shock from my finger go in the controller, and it no longer functioned. And when I called Sony customer service, I got laughed at. So yeah.
Yeah, no, my it just certain buttons on the controller like do not work. Like when I was started streaming the other day, I was like, why isn't this controller working? I'm like, is it dead? And then I used a different one. I'm like, oh, it's just bad. Okay. So literally out of nowhere, controller went bad. So thanks.
Yep. So we're not going to know outright how this goes, and it's going to take time for them to prove that they're not drifting. But they have been dealing with class action lawsuits and everything else, so it's in their best interest to prevent and solve this problem. They're not going to come out and say one way or the other it won't, because that can just be used as ammo against them if there is an issue later. It's a weird legal back and forth on that. So we'll find out. We just know for a fact we don't have Hall effect sensors now, but there's other kinds that they can be using. So we'll see. All right, on to the next one. So the Nintendo Switch Online GameCube controller only works with the Nintendo Switch GameCube Classic titles on Switch 2. This one was a fun one. So while some versions of the trailer do state the controller is only compatible with Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Classics, this is the same kind of warning that was on the same trailers and information for the Super Nintendo controller, for the Nintendo 64 Classic controller, and all of those. Basically, it's a cover your ass legal statement, because the GameCube controller does not have all the functions of the normal Nintendo Switch control set. So there are going to be games it doesn't work with. So they just say, hey, they will all work with this. And then they can't really say your mileage will vary on other games, you know, because I use the Super Nintendo controller all the time when I'm playing like Tetris or 2D games and stuff like that. You just got to make sure there's enough buttons on there to function. That's your main thing. So I'm fairly sure the damn controller is going to work fine. They can only say it's guaranteed to work on the GameCube ones because that's a GameCube controller. You know, I know this has to be said, and it's kind of dumb, but there it is. So
use your controller adapter.
Yeah, that does work. You can still do that. I still want to get one of these wireless ones just for convenience, but yeah, I'm just going to plug in the USB and use the same GameCube.
You're only allowed one, and no Chase. It's not only for the leader of the pack. Everybody gets one.
Oh yeah, Steven, you and I can order whatever we want. We run the accounts on ours.
I can also order mine. Everyone else.
Beer frame for Chase.
Oh, he's the odd man out now. Actually, he can pre-order right now. We can't. So who's losing now?
We're all losing because the Switch is not out yet.
True, but Chase is the only one here that can order it right now.
Listen, we'll get it eventually.
One day.
It'll happen.
A bit, yeah.
One day.
Someone was like, we should just have it be like no pre-order, just show up at the store like we did back in the day.
Yeah.
That's how murders happen.
Listen.
Mugging.
I don't think pre-orders stop murders, but yeah.
Listen, if we're backsliding on some things, why don't we backslide on how game release works?
I miss midnight launches.
I do too. I had quite a lot of fun actually working and being at game launches because
I have an electric car that I could back up in front of the store, have a TV, game systems, and everything hooked up with wireless controllers. We could sit there waiting in line, playing on a big screen. Mm-hmm. And then we just go away from having midnight launches. And I'm like, I've lost all potential of this. This would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, on to our next little myth to talk about. So Nintendo is including a proprietary Nintendo HDMI to get you to buy more accessories. All right. So if you've ever bought a Wii U for the 10 of us out there, or, a Switch for the 150 million plus, you know that all the Nintendo systems come with an HDMI cable that says Nintendo on it.
Yep.
That's it. That's as proprietary as it gets. It's labeled. It is a standard HDMI cable based on what the output it is. So you're already going to have a cable coming with it that works. You don't have to buy another one. If for some reason you do, or you have to, get a longer cable or something different, make sure you have at least an HDMI. I think it's 2.0. 2.1 recommended. I think 2.0 is the minimum for this, or higher, because that supports 4K 60, which the dock outputs, HDR, and VRR. That's it. It's the same HDMI cable you're going to have for PS5 and Series X and like 4K, computer setups. There's nothing proprietary. Nintendo's not trying to monopolize or get people to have to get their stuff. It's a standard.
So I have to look up something then, because it doesn't say it on their website. I guess unless I keep digging. But I use the for my Switch, I use the M Classic. That uses the algorithm to get the best possible picture.
I am so sorry.
Sharpen stuff, and it looks great. I don't have any issues whatsoever, but I also don't know. It doesn't say anywhere what HDMI point it is. It just says it can do 4K. And it says it can do.
It tries to scale into output 4K, but I don't think it actually passes through. So I don't know how that's going to work. Plus, you're going to need an open connection to your TV for like the refresh rate and all that stuff too.
Because it says it can upscale all movies and TV shows which have a frame rate of 24 hertz. Sources that are higher than 30 hertz, such as video games, can still be upscaled to 2K. So
I will have to. Yeah, I've never been a fan of the M Classic. It's what I would consider digital snake oil for a lot of stuff. And I know. Say what?
It was on sale.
True, but I mean, just because it's on sale doesn't mean it's good for your stuff. Some things, some functions can be useful for it, but I know a lot of the equipment I have does cost a lot more, does a lot more stuff, but that's just kind of how it's scaling it. But I don't know how that's going to operate with it, because I mean, the Switch 2 is already going to be outputting 4K, so you don't really need to upscale or smooth anything on that regards. But yeah, for the HDMI cable, you don't have to. Nintendo, they don't even sell an HDMI cable now. I can't go just buy a Nintendo one. I don't even think I can even order it from their website. They're like, yeah, just go buy a cable.
They used to have a parts section on their website where you could order like actual like Nintendo,
the docks and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything, including the HDMI power cables, whatever you name it. They used to have a section of that. I don't think it was that long ago that it went away either.
Yeah. Probably just became a pain trying to keep up with it.
Yeah. And it's just also like, it's not something that people do. They don't want to buy that kind of stuff from them. Yeah.
It's become so standard. You can get a lot of just easy to find stuff and use it. So, all right, on to our last little bit of this. So this is from a recent interview done with Nintendo of America president Doug Bowser. A lot of people are upset thinking he pulled a Don Matrick, which, if you guys remember from the beginning of the Xbox One, at the end of the 360, Don Matrick made this famous statement where, if you didn't like the Xbox One being online, we have an offline system for you. It's called the Xbox 360, and that went over like a lead balloon. Go ahead, Steven.
I do want to preface the whole thing that it was pre-recorded on April 2nd. So that was not live that you saw. So anything he said was as of April 2nd. So a lot of people blew that out of proportion because they didn't know that.
I mean, even after the fact, like if he said it now, I didn't see the issue with it. But I've been seeing a lot of people putting partial quotes. Like they'll pull one line or skip later on and make it and try and make this sound really bad, which happens.
That is just journalism, Jeremy.
Yeah, I know, and I hate it.
That is quite literally just journalism. As someone who's studied journalism, it's for the clicks. It's for the clicks,
I get
it.
It's for the clicks. It's still shitty. And the actual quote from the interview is, quote, "We recognize there are some people that may not be able to afford the Switch 2's price point. That's why we wanted to make the other Switch platforms available, so people still have an opportunity to come into our gaming universe, be a part of these characters in these worlds, and see value, if you will, in whatever rung of the platform they come in."
Yeah, this is Nintendo's way of saying they are still going to continue to support the Switch One for a while. I mean, heck, it took them forever to close down 3DS stuff, so they know people want to keep things.
The Switch is pretty much almost to the point of being, and I still think they're going to take PS2 on this, the largest market of gaming system in history. You don't just walk away from that. Like, you don't just immediately shut down and be like, all right, this 150 million systems we sold and plus with 120 something million active users still, which is unheard of. We're just going to stop selling them games and you have to buy this new system. That would be terrible. And that would be a very bad decision on the Xbox One level of stuff. But just saying that you're still going to support it kind of just makes sense. They're going to have options for people. You know, there's a lot of people that do not buy systems when they're new. That's fine. I saw a dude the other day who was just now buying a Switch finally because he's like, oh, it's the end of the life. There's a massive library for it. Like, they only get the systems at the end of the life, so they can get all this stuff cheaper and have a selection, which is, it's fine. You know, hopefully they still enjoy it.
That is a smart way to do it if they don't mind being behind on everything, which is okay. Not everybody wants to be caught up and up to date on everything. Like,
hats off to your resistance to FOMO.
Right?
Hey,
you know,
I wish
not everybody
I
keeps
didn't
up with it.
experience FOMO as much as other people.
Yeah. I'm the one that almost everybody jokes about because I buy everything when they first come out. I'm the early adopter. I pay the early adopter tax. I'm fine with that. You know, that way I can
tell price for Redfall.
Say what?
Did you pay full price for Redfall?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I did not.
You're cured.
I didn't say everything. That's a game. Consoles I get, like, I have the launch edition. I got the PlayStation 4. I think the PS3 is the only one I have not gotten recently at launch because it was just too expensive at the time, and I couldn't afford to do it. I actually got my 360 at that point because a friend of mine actually bought it for me as a gift. We were still young, starting off, you know, kids were really small. So I just couldn't afford it, and we couldn't do that. I did get the Wii, though. I got that as soon as I could.
I waited online for that.
We ended up ordering it and then finding out at launch day, the store in the mall, Rachel, you probably remember that FYE. They didn't, the manager never put in the order for the Wii. So we were all sitting outside on the launch day, and the kid would not open the gate until he finally terrifyingly told us, we don't have the systems. He never ordered them. And they didn't open because he didn't want people coming in and getting mad.
That sounds like that owner, by the way.
Yeah, it does.
I did get some really good like CDs from them, though. Like,
it was a great store for that. Yes.
Yeah.
Terrible for
FYE
pre-ordering.
still
the
is. If you have an FYE near you, you can find some real gems there, both DVDs and CDs. Not even kidding.
I wish we had an FYE around
Not
here. After the
sponsored.
hurricane, we lost it all.
Yeah,
What,
we
Steven?
have one here.
I said not sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored at all. Like, but believe it or not, I've got some good stuff from an FYE that I've been like looking for like ages. So don't knock it.
No, I'm not knocking it. I've been on a kick for getting physical stuff.
I'm talking about people like listening.
Ah,
you know?
gotcha.
Knocking it. Suncoast video sucks. Okay.
So, anyways, so these are the biggest questions or comments I've heard in regards to the Switch 2, and hopefully this answers a lot of that stuff. Like, a lot of misinformation going around with it. We still don't know when we're going to be able to do pre-orders. We're still waiting to find out when that's going to be, both in the United States and Canada. I heard an interesting theory that maybe they'll make that announcement at the Mario Kart Direct. That'll give them time to kind of, because things right now are so fluid with stuff where we're, once again, not to get political, but we're getting the tariffs back and forth, starting, stopping, increasing for some places. Now they're being paused for electronics.
They're exempt for phones and computers.
Yeah, and like electronic devices, which it
So
keeps changing.
This falls under that umbrella in some respects of it. We're talking about the pre-orders right now, right? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about pre-orders.
Yeah. So we think that's why they're holding off on making that announcement, because everything's still in flux.
And people were shocked about like the whole Canada one being paused. But then I had to remind one of my friends that lives in Canada. I said, guys, all of our Switches and probably likely all of your Switches are going to be coming from this same warehouse. So they're going to ship them all at the same time.
Mhm.
It's going to be subject to the same tariffs regardless of where they are going at the end of it, because they're coming from the same warehouse. And they went, oh, that makes so much sense because we're literally on the same continent. And I'm like, you got to think of it from a continent perspective, not a like country perspective, because that's how that kind of thing works. It's cheaper for them to send all of it to the same warehouse and then distribute it to smaller warehouses.
Yeah.
So
Nothing else for the three of us. Pre-orders begin May 8th. The end.
probably.
Yeah, because we put in for the Nintendo stuff, so hopefully we'll get the email from that.
We
and
will get
can do it.
emails come hell or high water. I just want to be able to play the new Mario Kart. That's it. That's all I
Yeah.
care about right now.
So if you are in the regal position of Rachel, Steven, and I of being the heads of your Nintendo family accounts,
Yeah.
you will get a chance for a Switch to starting May 8th.
We hope.
Chase, good luck.
Pre-order it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go pre-order now, you son of a bitch.
He's above the king. The kingmaker.
I have ascended.
Oh,
You will
it
have
hurts
ascended
to
once your
laugh.
bank
Don't make me
account says
laugh.
you can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's not. I don't know how to feel about that, Rachel. It's like, yeah, you can't laugh, but if we're not being funny, if this show is not funny enough and safe enough for that fact that you can come on here after surgery, I don't know how to take that. Are we just not
Listen.
funny? What's
Listen, I can laugh. I can't laugh for long.
she can
It
chortle.
hurts.
She can
I
chortle.
can
Jeremy,
chortle.
what about our saved games?
We will get into that. Let's move on to that now. Thank you for getting me back on track.
Thank you.
For once, we finally did it. All right, so we did get one interesting bit of information I wanted to bring up really quick. So all of your save data, you can move it over from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2. But now, unlike previous systems, almost all of your saves will also stay on the Switch 1 with one exception, and that is Animal Crossing. Your Animal Crossing village will move, and it can only be on one system at a time. And it's a one-way trip, by the way. You move it to Switch 2, that's it. It lives there. But your other game saves will be on both systems. Which I get. Like I said, this was system specific save.
Save clones.
Or
Yeah, that's I think what they're worried about.
everybody can just save yourself a headache. And
Mhm.
other than Animal Crossing, if you already have Nintendo Switch Online for $19.99 a year, sponsored hopefully one day.
I wish. I'd do it.
Then
Nintendo,
you
I'll
can
whore out
still
for you. I'll do
download
it.
from the cloud, guys. So you don't need to transfer everything. You can download from the cloud what you are playing because it'll still be under your profile.
Mhm.
So you still have that.
Yep. So you should just be able to be like, oh,
So-
I'm gonna play this and put
I don't
it
think
on
I've
Switch
ever
and-
Me with
used that
multiple
feature.
switches. Like, I'm not going to transfer anything. That's crazy. If I'm going to play this game on there, I'll download my cloud save. That's it. So it's like, you don't need to transfer everything, but something like Pokemon and Animal Crossing, you should transfer.
But
Oh, yes,
Steven,
absolutely.
what if they use Pikmin again? I have to transfer
They're
to
not
see the
using
Pikmin.
They're not using Pikmin.
Oh, I actually recorded
Is
the
that
transfer
confirmed?
from the Wii to the Wii U, and then I tried to video the one from DS to 3DS, and I'm like, but I love the Pikmin. They're great.
I will eat a clove of garlic on an episode of our podcast if they have Pikmin shown
Pikmin?
doing the animation of transfer.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
I can
Pikmin?
guarantee myself it will not be on there.
That's
no,
his out. He'll be like, no, those are Pikmin. I said Pikmin.
Oh my god.
Talk about
There's just going to be an
legalese.
arrow and a boop, 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 boop. There'll be some kind of tune that plays while it transfers. That's it.
Oh, Lord.
My god. All right. So
All right. So we can that's the end of our Switch 2 news, because the other part of what we had, we've already talked about, which was the pre-order information. So now we're going to move into some Baldur's Gate.
a little bit of news here. Just a little
Yeah. So Baldur's Gate patch 8, we've been waiting for a while. This is the mythical one that includes crossplay. And they out of the blue just announced yesterday, hey, it's coming April 15th, which is, as of this recording, in 3 days on a Tuesday.
Surprise. They're
It's a
just-
Tuesday.
They don't, you know, they're not doing anything with anything
I hope,
after this.
I hope the
so-
update is not very taxing on my hard drive space.
We'll have to see. But it just reminds me of the Street Fighter movie. It's like For you, it was this big update. For me, it was just another Tuesday.
And then there's also 12 new subclasses and a
Yes.
photo mode. So take
I'm going to go
your
nuts with that photo mode.
take your creative photos, y'all.
Oh, that's going to get weird.
They're gonna get. It's probably gonna get
I
weird.
really don't think Chase and Jeremy are prepared for how I'm going to play this game.
Please don't be naked. Because that makes me think about it. Like, you can be completely naked and everything is correct, and they added a photo mode. This is going to get awkward real fast.
Mm-hmm.
I can update my profile.
If nobody's naked in our playthrough, then we're not doing it right. Like, there's just
I can update my profile for my Xbox logo.
Jeremy, that's just how you play D&D. Someone's gonna be naked.
I've only ever partially played D&D once. I'm still wanting to get an actual
I
game.
vehemently do not play D&D because the character creation ticks me off too much. So,
Really?
yeah.
We're going to have somebody naked. Everybody else is screaming. There's a goat there with its head cut off for some reason. Like
The bard's trying to sleep with everything, except the naked person for some weird reason.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I think it's June 18th. Let me double check.
Mm-hmm. So I've been looking forward to this Baldur's Gate one because I have it on PC and I have it on Series X. So it'd be nice to be able to join in with you guys to have it on like PS5 and stuff and play together.
Just a quick aside. Yes. Speaking of everything, Date Everything comes out physically as well, and it's coming out June 17th. So get ready to date everything.
I'm so ready.
Wait, June 17th?
Yep.
On my 25th anniversary.
As the iconic Reggie would
It's
say,
gonna be the only
my
dating
body is
sim,
ready.
It's going to be the only dating sim I buy just so I can be like, I fell in love with the box fan.
Yeah. Yep. As the iconic Reggie would say, my body is ready.
I'm going to buy the game and then take my wife out on a date. Because it's our anniversary that day.
Perfect.
I'm dating everything,
June
including you, my
17th.
wife.
Yeah. We're still trying to pick a nice, fancy, ridiculous place to go have dinner. Like, we're just going to go nuts with it. It's 25 years. You don't just walk into that. People, how many people do you know that have been married for 25 years at this point anymore?
Quite a few.
I don't run into that many. They usually get divorced by this point for a lot of people.
Yeah, but
nowadays.
everybody's retired where you guys live, so it's
That's true.
weird.
All right, let's move on to our next little bit. Oh, so this one has a bit of irony to it because we also have a quote from a couple of years ago that we talked about on a previous show about this. But Tequila Works, the developers behind Rhyme, Guilt, and more, is auctioning off their IP after filing for insolvency in 2024. And I don't know why I just stuttered there for a moment. That's different. This will also include the titles they had in the works, including The Ancient Mariner, Dungeon Tour, and Brawler Crawler. Tencent had purchased a controlling stake as a majority investor in the company back in 2022. And of course, Tencent has been buying up and trying to purchase out a lot of different companies. And it's been leading to a lot of shutdowns and layoffs and stuff. And ironically, Tequila Works chairwoman Luz Sancho was quoted at the time back in 2022 stating, quote, "We are delighted to ally with a partner that allows us to make Tequila Works a stronger studio with access to all the resources required to produce titles of the highest quality, all made with the care and passion our beloved fans know us for, as well as the opportunity of bringing these projects to a wider audience." 2 years later, they're shutting down because they don't have the funding or the stuff that they need. And there you go. The two founders actually left the company earlier this year over some of this stuff as well. So it sucks that happened, but it's just another notch in the mess that is Tencent buying up all this stuff.
10-cent touch.
Yep. The 10-cent touch indeed.
It'll soon override the Midas touch. And instead of saying trust the Midas touch, don't trust the 10-cent touch.
Oh, show us on the business where the 10-cent touched you. All right, Steven, go ahead.
I'm gonna just formally apologize to Tequila Works because I've hated them since Rhyme. Because listen, hear me out. Because it was the first game. Sorry, guys. It It was the first game that was compared to all the other editions of Rime,
Mhm.
and everybody hated the Switch in the beginning, saying it's a low-powered Wii with tape on it,
Oh no.
or Wii U without a second screen.
Mhm.
Because of this game, and it got to me that I was just like, well, then I'm not going to play Rime. And then all the other games they made never interested me. So I apologize, Tequila Works. I hope you find work elsewhere.
Yeah, I do hope the developers do get, land on their feet, find other jobs and stuff like that. Like, we may not actually like it. I had to go back and look. I was like, oh, okay, the game I have is called Rive, not Rime. So I guess I don't have the other one. Rive was actually fun. I was like, I liked that game. Different title completely. So, yeah. Sorry, Tequila Works. You shouldn't have taken that 10-cent money.
I own as many games from them as the fucks I give. So I'm sorry.
Damn, Steven's on something tonight.
Truth.
Jesus.
Truth
All right,
hurts.
on to our last news story of the night. So Bungie has shown a new trailer and shared details for the upcoming PvPvE extraction shooter Marathon.
Concord 2.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that, which is not a good start. It's coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC here in a couple months. I forgot to write down the actual release date. That's how interested I was. 4 classes of characters to pick from while you fight another team, as well as the environmental dangers. Bungie's Marathon account on X stated, quote, Marathon will be a premium title. Marathon will not be a full-priced title. We'll announce details this summer. So we're not getting any of that information until close to, because it's releasing in summer from what I
It'll
saw.
be $30 unless you want online play, then it's $60.
Yeah, and it's pretty much, I think it's online only. Like, you have to be online with it. That's the funny thing. Yeah.
That's why it's premium for...
GameSpot's Timur Hussein recently got a hands-on with the shooter and stated that this will have a battle pass, 3 maps, with a 4th map coming shortly after launch. A quote, and boy, he ripped into this, a very vague story in its nature and unclear in its implementation. Continued saying fun, but no frills gameplay. And then lastly, a character progression system that doesn't yet show signs of offering a meaningful sense of growth.
So basically, it boils down to the following statement for this game, which is, who cares?
That man will never get another early access to anything again.
No, he will.
I hope he does. I'd rather someone be
actually
honest.
have something good to show him.
Yeah, I like his honesty.
Yeah, someone out there will be like, we're gonna give this man a good game now. Here we go.
Yeah, he's the critic from Ratatouille. You either do it right or don't do it right.
Yeah.
I can respect that. He's a fun one to listen to. I've listened to on some podcasts and stuff too. He's not kidding. But
good on him for being honest.
But like this game, it's supposed to be based on their Marathon series, which was before they did Halo. This was their first person series that they did on the Mac. That was very much like a sci-fi type shooter with exploration and kind of environmental storytelling. It was groundbreaking for its time, honestly. I didn't
Don't
get to
tell
play
me you're
it till late.
surprised what they've turned it into, though.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to lay the groundwork of, like, Marathon was an impressive series even back in the day, and it had potential of becoming a new sci-fi tale that they could have expanded on. And they've hinted that there will be references to that, but like, that's
you're not seeing it.
Yeah. Like, what's the shooter we get right now instead of Titanfall? Like,
Anthem.
It's not even Anthem. What's because there's a current shooter. I'm blanking on the name.
Apex Legends.
Apex Legends. Thank you. That is technically in that universe, but you don't get Titans or mentions of it beyond little things. That seems to be what we're getting from this for Marathon.
Yeah.
I'll give it. It's brightly colored. It is nice to look at. But how many? I could change the name on this trailer and make anyone think it's almost anything else. I could probably write this off and tell someone that this is an update to Fortnite, and they'd believe it. Like, it's that generic looking to me. And we already don't get previews, so I can say whatever I want. We're not getting shit. Once again, though, Steven and I will do terrible, terrible things to get money and access from Nintendo. We'll just say it now. So, yeah, Put it in your veins. So yeah, I don't think any of us are super excited for this one.
I'll buy this when it's getting pulled from shelves, though.
Yeah, I don't have my physical Concord edition, so good for you on that one. I never got one. I don't see this even getting a physical release, probably.
It probably will be either like free to play or like.
Oh no,
probably...
they said it's not free to play.
Oh,
It's premium, Chase.
Yeah,
Come on.
It's a premium title, but it won't be full priced.
20
which I
to
guess
40
is why
bucks then. Yeah.
I think Steven's not wrong. He can say 60 and be like, well, premium and normal is 70, so it's technically cheaper. Also, where's that battle pass money? You know. I think this is not good for Bungie in the long run. Destiny's kind of running out of steam.
I haven't played, touched, thought about, looked at, considered Destiny in over a year. And I used to play Destiny every single night with friends back in 2015 and after.
We'll have to send you a 12-month coin so you can show it off. Be like, I'm Bungie free for 12 months.
Not even I every time someone brings it up, I'm like, oh yeah, I used to play that game.
Yeah, I'm like, it's on my shelf. That's about all it's going to be. So, all right, well, let's move on from that mess and let's move over to the speed run. All right, Hades 2 has been announced to be a console launch exclusive for Nintendo Switch 1 and 2, with no set release date for other consoles. PC will be getting the release at the same time, though, as it was already in early access. So that has made a lot of people on Xbox and PlayStation kind of pissed.
Who don't remember what happened with Hades 1.
Right. And Steven, thank you for verifying before the show that it is also including Switch 1, because I thought it was just Switch 2. I was like, damn, that's ballsy.
Like, no, we're still making it so you can have a complete collection.
That would make sense, because it'd be like, if you buy it for one or you already had it pre-ordered, then you can play it on the other. So next up, in a recent Deadline interview, Mike DeLuca from Warner Brothers confirmed that not only is a third, Rachel, you want to say it?
Beetlejuice.
In the works, but we're also working on new Gremlins, a sequel to Goonies, The Matrix, and others, plus a reboot of The Bodyguard.
To clarify a little further what he said, it was it was in an interview, I think, with like Deadline, and
that's what I said in their Deadline interview.
Yeah, Deadline, and so somebody asked about, are you developing sequels for both Minecraft and Beetlejuice? And he said, imminently. The ink might not be dry on the deals yet, but imminently. Like, they are quite serious about getting the ball rolling on those certain ones, I think, very quickly.
Yeah.
So
and you have to be pretty damn sure to make that kind of a public statement.
Yeah.
And not have them just kind of quietly disappear you.
Oh my gosh. When I heard that, I literally, like, the article came out, right? And at least 20 people that I know personally in real life sent me the article.
In real time.
Like, quickly. Like, my phone was blowing up. And because this article came out like Thursday night, I think. Yeah,
it's just kind of out of the blue.
I was like laying there in the recliner, like about to fall asleep, and all of a sudden, bing, 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 and my best friend was like, "What is happening?" And I was like, "There's gonna be a Beetlejuice third movie," and then he's like, "I'm sorry, what?" And I go,
"They made pretty good money on the last one. I thought it did really well.
It was still rated like 70% or something, like audience rating on like Rotten Tomatoes, but like, who cares?
I loved it.
It was great. It was a good time, and the next one will also be a good time. I will cry when this happens.
So. Real quick, Steven, I'll get to you in a sec. Rachel, I have to ask, this has to be named Beetlejuice, right? Like, they have to keep that trend of Beetlejuice, then Beetlejuice for the sequel, and then lastly, all three together for the third.
Not,
it just fits.
It does fit, but if it is not, I am anxious to know what they could possibly call it.
Because it feels like at this point, any kind of subtitle to it would just be weird.
Well,
like, just so out
there
of
is one other option that they could call it.
Ooh, okay. I'm
curious. I'm not going to say it.
Will you tell me afterwards?
No, I will tell you after.
Okay.
And
that's fine.
I just
Sorry,
thought
listeners.
of it. I just thought of it myself. and I don't want to put it out into the ether.
Oh, I know. They're gonna call it Beetlejuice, but then just put a 3 at the end instead of the E.
No,
Because
yeah.
that's always cool.
Oh no.
No, they'll,
No,
they'll do
no.
worse, and they'll replace the first E with a 3, which is
No.
even
Oh.
And
Beef-
the logo will just be
beef-friedel
B3.
juice.
B3, yeah. Or
Beef-friedel.
Better Business Bureau. There we go.
Someone will actually pronounce it Beef-friedel juice or whatever. Like, just what the hell?
Oh my god.
Friedel juice. There you
She's
go.
like, I feel terrible.
Oh.
You
no.
got it. Friedel juice.
Friedel- She's never gonna talk to us again.
I'm gonna get the popcorn bucket that says Friedel juice. That's gonna be great.
The name's so bad, the movie will leave.
My poor ribs. Oh my god. Oh.
We're killing Rachel here. My bad.
Oh, Sookie's even concerned. Look, you can see her little tiny head.
Usually when it clips in the video, that part gets cut out. But yeah, her dog's down there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steven.
I would just like to have a heartfelt apology to all the dying turtles out there, because other than Friedel juice, everything else is literally grasping at straws. Those are all going to be disasters. I'm saying it now.
Gremlins,
Goonies I'm curious about, because I do like that they're bringing back the
I don't
cast.
I think they're going to multiverses these movies. They're not going to get the right people to work on any of it.
I don't know. It all depends. Like, listen, like campy 80s horror comedy stuff. It's really easy to get that wrong, but it's really hard to get it really wrong. So I'm going to remain hopeful.
There's just specific people that need to work on the Gremlins, the Goonies, and the Matrix. And the only way the Bodyguard would work is if they get Ryan Coogler to do it, because so far everything he's touched has been gold anyway.
So,
True.
we'll
I
see.
think Goonies I'm okay. I'm hopeful for, because they are getting the cast back, and they've been talking about it. And if they can get the actual kids as adults, okay, I'll be interested in wherever they go with that. Gremlins, I'm one of two minds. I kind of want it to be more like the first movie, which was more horror based with comedy involved, than the second one, which I think was made more for a kids audience to be slapstick comedy, like a live cartoon with, not as much horror in it, other than a few little scary things kids might like. So we'll have to see which way they go with it. So who knows?
It's not going to have sloths. It's going to suck.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think they would
passed
do.
away 4 years after the movie came out.
Dang. And lastly, speaking of movies that are going to take forever to come out, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse finally got a release date of June 4th, 2027.
They rehired all the artists, probably.
Hooray!
That is- I have to go back and look and see what the longest wait time has been between two halves of a movie like this, where they have the part 1 and part 2 together.
I thought part
Star
2
Wars.
was done. Like, did I imagine that? Like, I could have sworn when the first part of this
Yeah,
thing
you did
Nope.
imagine
came
that.
out,
Yeah.
Because-
like they
Well, no, you
said it
didn't.
was.
You didn't imagine that because when the first half came out, they only had like a year turnaround for they originally announced like a year turnaround, and everybody's
Yep.
like, man, this is gonna be like the fastest turnaround for like a Marvel like sequel, blah blah blah, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden it just went quiet.
Yeah, 'cause
Radio silent.
I could have sworn that they said it was basically already done, and I literally was like, when this was announced, I was like,
I think they're full of shit. So
They were.
I thought they could do it because, if they recorded all the voice lines and they're just worried about doing animation, I could see that. There's turnarounds for movies that
they were clearly full of shit. So
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
Sony full of shit.
Yeah, it's Sony and how they handle Spider-Man
Not
movies.
the presses.
What do you expect? At least this one has Spider-Man in it. I would not put it past them to be like, all right, we're going to do the second Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse without Spider-Man. It's only going to be, Venom and no Spider-Man all of a sudden. That's the Sony way.
I'd be all right with that.
Fuck you. You're the problem.
Just make sure it's just Kraven the Hunter, and that's it. That's it.
Just
Yeah.
Kraven the Hunter.
Where's my Silver Sable movie they promised?
God, I'm kind of
Oh,
glad that one
man.
just died off. It'd be Morbius.
Venom's like
All
my
right.
favorite Spider-Man character anyway, so I'm fine
It's
with
still weird that it's Venom without Spider-Man, though, because that's so ingrained in the story of it.
We got Avengers without Spider-Man, and they fought in his town. in his city. Just
True.
saying.
I think the age of him, though, he was still a kid at the time. He may not have had his powers. Anyways, let's move on to the big question. All right. So with the debate on the cost increase of games going up with Mario Kart World being $80 in the US, how do you feel about this? And what would a game have to be in order to warrant a higher cost than the current $70 standard? And then bonus, if you want to add this to your answer, how do you feel about this notion some are pushing that inherently Nintendo titles should be cheaper because they aren't on a system as powerful as other modern consoles? I've seen that argument a lot, that games shouldn't be more than $40 because it's old technology, and it should, if it's not a PS5 or Series X, they didn't put real work into it and it's not a real game. I just wanted to see the look Rachel gave and your funny explanations of that. So Steven, I'm going to start with you. So go ahead. Stretch it out. Don't pull anything.
Okay, bonus. Anybody who thinks like that probably bought Skull and Bones at launch. We're looking at you, you freaks. So maybe you learned your own lesson buying an overpriced quadruple A turd.
Jeez.
So
you're gonna tear poor Rachel. She's like, ow.
A game doesn't have to be anything to warrant higher cost. It's whatever you think it's worth, you price it accordingly. Things like Ubisoft games have the curse where it goes down in price anyway. Mm-hmm. They all go cheap. They all go bargain bin after a while. So it's either you play it at the beginning or you play it later. Yes, Nintendo's known to be evergreen with their titles. They don't ever go down in price. They've started going on sale because they know they were transitioning to a new system. Mm-hmm. I don't, I'm going to do the very tired debate or argument that, I was paying $70 for Romance of the Three Kingdoms for my Super Nintendo. I was paying $75 for Killer Instinct. So yes, money felt different back then because you asked mom and dad for it instead of having to buy it yourself. But yeah, when you buy it yourself, suddenly you're more cognizant on, getting games, because when you were a kid, you got games during your birthday and Christmas and no other time ever. So if a game came out,
for me, that was the same damn day. I got one game.
If a game came out between those 2 days, your birthday or Christmas, you got nothing, or you had to save up your allowance or ask Santa. So, I don't, the problem with this is like, there already is the notion, and it's not going away anytime soon, that if you don't price a game now at $60, they're like, so your game's not as good, or your game's a budget title. People are questioning City of the Wolves for Fatal Fury from SNK because it's $60 and it includes the season pass, and they're like, that's not what Mortal Kombat did. It was $90 for their season pass to be included. So there's always going to be that stigma saying if you don't price it at $60, then your games aren't as good, or your games are budget titles because not enough work got put into it. And then there's just ones that just get priced accordingly because that's how they sell. Like, if you still want the Famicom Mystery Club games on digitally only through Nintendo, it's still $60. It's never gone on sale, and it probably never will. So, yeah, this is just one of those things. It's just like, I hate to tell you to get used to it, but get used to it, because just because Nintendo did it first, and they're the first ones to get the slap on the hand, just you wait until Rockstar rears its head. If Rockstar has GTA 6 at $60, that's going to be insane. And I don't think that's happening. And nobody cared after a while, because Nintendo already tested the waters with Tears of the Kingdom. They're like, here, this game's $70. And people are like, how dare you? And then after a while it went on sale and they shut up. So they're like, oh, so people really won't boycott Zelda if we charge $70. So we will put even more into the game and charge more money. The end.
There you go. All right, Rachel, what about you?
Oh my goodness. So
I knew this was going to be a fun question.
if you were charging me $80 for a game, I'm already paying $70 for some of these games that come out.
Right.
So $10 is not that big of a jump.
Well,
however, Switch games are traditionally, a lot of them are not $70. They're still in the $60, $65 range.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are charging me $80, that better be a huge game with so much to do that I don't even know what to do with my own time. Number one.
Fair.
Whatever price tag they put on it, it's got to be worth it. That is the big thing. So when Nintendo kind of explained themselves on this, they did give good reasoning. And from what I've seen in the like trailers and stuff for Mario Kart, there is so much stuff to do in this game. And what other people got to remember is that for the other Mario Kart 8, it's been out for years. It's had tons of updates. It had for, the Nintendo Online folks, it's had, basically free upgrades. You're paying for your online subscription, right? You're paying for it annually. You're paying basically pennies for it annually to get access to all this great content for a game you already have owned for how many years. Your return on investment is there. Like it's been tenfold. So the fact that they're charging $80 for it now, they kind of deserve it after they've given you so much already for so little. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the second part of the question.
Who hurt you?
Exactly. Like why do you think that Nintendo should charge less for their own titles on their own system? That makes no sense. Like that doesn't make any sense. It makes actually zero sense because it's their system. It's their console. It's their game. They can charge what they want for it. They don't even have to produce games anymore if they don't want to.
They could pull a Valve.
They could pull a Valve and just decide not to do it at all. But the thing is like, what put this idea in their head? That's what I want to know. What planet are they from?
A tall glass of haterade.
Yes, Stephen, go on.
I just wanted to add two things that were going across my mind when you were talking, and that
Okay.
is there are people out there who bought God of War Ragnarok when it first came out on a Friday,
Yeah.
and by Saturday night I saw posts saying, "What a title, finished." I'm like, how much did you spend on that, and how long did you enjoy it for? And that's why GameStop has their 10 days get full store credit if you trade it in, because they're like, people are paying $60 and then they're beating it in a weekend.
Well,
and I was like, you're not
people
getting
take
your value.
Exactly. People aren't like taking their time and really enjoying games. They're just speeding through it, much like they're speeding through life. They're not enjoying life either. So,
and I'm sorry, publishers, especially I'm looking at you, BioWare, and everyone else, Activision. If you're going to charge me a premium, not to be confused with premium title like Marathon, if you're going to charge me a premium collector's edition and you're going to give me a download code in the Steelbook, you're insulting my intelligence.
Oh, good call. Yeah,
Just saying, like,
that.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It's just people are so dumb. Like they are so dumb. And also, like, number one, folks out there, unless your job is to review a game, there is literally no reason for you to spend $80 on a game and then finish it in a weekend. No reason at all. Take your time. Enjoy it. Enjoy your life. Enjoy the game as it is meant to be. That's what gaming is. Gaming is meant for enjoyment, not to be the first to finish. Thank you. That's my TED Talk.
I can see my
next
time.
Person.
All right, Chase, you get to follow up on that. What is your thoughts on the big question this week?
I'll start with the bonus part of it, saying that I don't think that's correct. I think that, it's at the end of the day, like, it's about content and what you think it's worth in that regard. I don't know how I feel about the $10 price hike. Like,
Well, also, if you
it's
don't
their
mind me
prerogative.
asking, for
It's their-
yours, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, it's their prerogative to do what they want, like to price it how they
Yeah.
want. Like, I'm not arguing that fact of it, but and Swan's right. Like, Nintendo's the first to do it because the general consensus was that GTA 6 was going to be the one to do it. Like
They were talking $100.
Yeah, they were saying $100 for that one. So I don't know. Like, for Nintendo to do it out of the blue, I think it's just caught everybody by surprise. What was your question?
I was going to say, for you, where you're living, the cost of things being it's higher there, I believe.
Yeah.
So this is kind of an even a little bit of a twist on your answer, I feel, if you don't mind. But
He's already used to it.
Yeah. Well, so a new game priced at $70, so just like a PS5 game over here in New Zealand costs $120.
holy
So I don't
Wow.
know. I don't know what a Nintendo. Actually, I might try to look that up real quick. See what a Switch 2 game is going to cost over here, if they even have the prices up yet.
well, I know why Game
Places-
Pass is so
places like
popular.
Target and some of the big box stores have it. So if there's a New Zealand equivalent, then they should be up for pre-order.
Yeah, but say Game Pass must be very popular in places like that with as much as games cost.
Well, the Switch 2 over here is $800,
Holy shit!
and that's just the base. That's not with the bundle.
Wow.
Take to the dock. No, I don't know.
Hang on a second. Switch 2 games. Here we go.
I mean,
Donkey Kong is 109. So it's
wow.
Pokemon Legends Zazaza is going to be 99. Metroid Prime 4 will be 99. So let's just to give it an idea. Oh, Bravely Default's quite cheap though. It's only 65.
That's a key card, of course.
Yeah.
Are any of the
Anyway.
digital releases cheaper there, or is it just across the board?
No, it's standardized
Yeah.
price, which is
Okay.
that's one that I've always thought is brutal. Is that because I think it just came out a while back. I can't remember where I read it from, but there was a talk that apparently there's 25% more margin in a digital sale than there is a physical sale. So it's like, really?
Yeah, because the digital, they're not having to pay
Yeah.
storefronts for their stuff or do any of that.
But it's just kind of like, okay, so like
Ooh.
we can't even like, shave the pencil down just a little bit, like, of that, like, publishers or developers. Yeah,
Well, that's the funny thing. That's what led to our issue earlier. And there's parts of the UK where the physical copy is $10 more than the digital, which I guess the digital is still the same as what we're paying, but there is that $10
yeah, so the digital's still the standardized price though, and the physical
Right.
is more, which is
Correct.
like, that's what it's like. Well, what couldn't the physical just be the standard price, and you could actually just keep and the digital you're already getting the extra margin on anyway.
Yeah, I
To make
don't.
up for that.
I'm just talking about the difference in price. I don't know the logistics of why that is. I think there's a regional reason for that. I am not fully aware of.
I think there was a podcast I was listening to the other day. It's actually the Yo Video Games podcast, and the guy there, he's big. Like, he's played Nintendo consoles all his life and stuff. And he's like, yeah, this is definitely the first time. This is the first, like, all of this. Now he's like, this is the first time I could tell that Nintendo's being run by a former accountant as their president than by Iwata. Because he's like, it's just like everything is, they're like crunching numbers. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to do a $10 price hike on a game. We're going to do it on Mario Kart because we know people are going to pay for it. And like, they're just, yeah, it's, I don't know. Yeah, I just, like, at the end of the day, I think Swan's right. It's about what she thinks worth it as
Sure.
well. I mean, at the end of the day, like, something's only worth what people are willing to pay for it. So if we end up finding out that Mario Kart World's like the worst selling Mario Kart ever, then we'll obviously know
We'll
that
have our
people
answer.
didn't. Yeah, then we'll have our answer. It's just like with the Switch 2, like the pricing of the Switch 2, like, how do we think it's going to affect sales of the console? Well, find out in like February, March next year.
Mhm.
We'll see. We'll see how it's on track to do. Like,
Yep.
I mean, like, yeah, it's their prerogative to price the games how they want. Like, at the end of the day, do I think that yeah, I don't know.
Fair.
80 bucks for as I've called it, a Forza Horizon clone, like Mario Kart Forza Horizon. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I'll get to my answer here in a sec, but yeah, that's just kind of what it is.
And like, don't get me wrong, you're talking about a guy who's bought Ubisoft games, bought the gold edition of Ubisoft games, but typically, like, even that, and that's, you know, more than the standardized price, but like, you know, typically you get like the game, like the season pass or the, you know, the whatever they call it, for like a few bucks cheaper sometimes. I'm not saying it happens every time,
Right.
but when you do that, or so, I don't know. I mean, it's subjective. It's all really subjective. Just what people think's worth it.
Hey, you know who charged $80 for a controller first? Nintendo. You know who's charging $80 for controllers now? Xbox and PlayStation.
I just hope that I just hope we don't go back to like the Wild West of like game pricing again, though, where like it's just publishers just start like going nuts.
Well, they're going to have the options for variable, but I'm going to go ahead and jump into my answer here real quick so we can go ahead and roll up the show. I know Rachel's about ready to to get off for the night. So first off, with the actual thing about Nintendo titles being cheaper, I've never agreed with that, because I think for any of the games, their value is based on how much fun and what they put into it. I paid full price for Ratchet and Clank on PS5. It was a fantastic game, but I believe I paid less for Mario Odyssey, and I think I would have paid happily more for Odyssey, because that was so much more content, so much more work was put into it. Yeah, I'm sure it didn't have the ray tracing and other stuff that the Ratchet and Clank did, but that doesn't make it less of a game. It's still a great piece of art that we can enjoy and have fun with. And there's a lot of games that I get cheaper. We were talking about what we had fun playing, Darktide. I paid $30 for that. Normally it was a $60 game. I got it on sale, so be it. We're having fun with it. But that's a game that I can't own, so I don't feel I would pay as much for it. I'm fine with having the difference, and I think we should have a difference on digital versus physical. I'll pay a $10 extra to get a cartridge if it's all on that cartridge, instead of, you know, if people want to pay less and get the digital version, everybody wins in that case. But for an actual $80 game, I think it does come down to perception and the quality of what you're getting. I'm willing, even now, to take that chance on Mario Kart World, because I have played every Mario Kart that's come before it, and I know every one of those I have gotten well over $100 in content.
I'm going to beat it in a weekend.
Playtime. And I have beaten games in weekends. I don't mind a game being short, and sometimes you do play them faster because you don't have that much extra time. I think the last time I did that was Astrobot. I platinumed it in less than 48 hours, but I did that as a personal push to see what is it like playing like a reviewer, where you get the game and you have to have a turnaround that fast. So I did that on purpose. Go ahead, Chase.
Just to piggyback off that, like, don't forget too that we had this moment in time where we kind of went through where, in order for a developer to feel that they give you more content and made it worth it, because they had these new like super powerful systems like the PS4 Pro and all that, everything had to be like open world and to be these massive maps where it took you forever to like get to like things and stuff. And then all of a sudden came this game called Doom 2016 that was just this linear but extremely fun experience, and kind of showed you that games don't have to be like open world for them to be like fun and worth it.
Yeah.
You might be eating your words though, with Dark Ages looking like it's open world now.
But there could be mixtures of it. Like I don't mind them trying parts of it.
I hope Doom the Dark Ages does well, because it is breaking the Doom formula.
Yeah. So, but that's the general gist of my feeling is the $80. Like, if I trust the developer, I'm more willing to pay that amount because I know they're putting the work into it, than it being like a new title or a new thing like that. You have to kind of prove it to me. And Nintendo still has to prove this to a lot of people. We have an entire direct coming out next week about Mario Kart, so we'll talk more about this next show. But it's on them to prove to the majority of people why this $80 is warranted. And they could completely blow it. They could do that. And mind you, if you get it digitally with the system, it's only $50. So there is a way to get it cheaper. You have to get a Switch 2 to play it anyways. If you can get that edition, at least at launch, that helps. It's not a permanent thing though. So who knows? So yeah. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up from there so we can just close this out. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen again. I keep doing that. It just don't want to click on it. Damn it. There, I'll do it manually. All right. So you can find the podcast in an audio form wherever you listen to your shows, and the video version over at YouTube at youtube.com/ZenspathCom. Both can easily be found over on zenspath.com/podcast as well. On any of these, if you could leave us a like, leave us a review, that helps us be found, get the word out for people, share it with friends, make clips of stuff if you want to. Just send it to us. We'd like to hear about it. Answer the big question. Go ahead and put that down in there if you want, because we're always looking to hear those answers. Or you can talk to us directly over at our Discord. It is Discord or bit.ly/Zenspath Discord. So it's just one little link from there. You can get to it from zenspath.com as well. All right. Well, this has been episode 168, not 86, of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. And we're out. Peace.
Pray for surf.
Night, everybody.
Get better, Rachel. Go order a damn Switch 2, Chase. You're the only one of us that can do it.